What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back in the garage again. I have another project that I have lined up for us, and hopefully you guys can stick around and follow me through. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Eddie. I also am known as Driveway Built 460, and you're looking at my 2015 Lexus GX 460. So today, if you guys know my build to an extent, you guys know that I run a Warn winch, and this is the Warn Evo 10S. And paired with it, I have the Agency 6 winch shackle and also the Fairlade. And so today, we're going to solve an issue that I've been having with this winch. And to find out what that is, well, you'll have to continue watching to see what I have come up with. But before we do that, allow me to show you why I need to have this done.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
So in order for me to gain access and use my winch, I have to release and open the hood and then use my remote, which is a wired remote, and it has a cable, and you have to hook the cable up to the control box, which is located right here. And so, with the wired here, it becomes a little bit, tedious to work with. You have to deal with long cables and, not tripping on that. So it becomes a little bit of a hassle. So I was disappointed that I didn't have a wireless remote that came with this winch. Given I did get this winch on sale, I think I paid a little bit north of $600 for this winch. And it does come with a 10-year warranty, and that's the reason why I mainly bought the winch, because if I have any issues with it within that 10-year time span, I can be able to have it warranted. Just a close-up visual aspects of it, but here is the remote that came with the winch. Here's the cable that goes along with it, and then the harness that you plug in to the control box is right here. And so yeah, you have to plug this into the control box and then use the remote to be able to use the winch whenever you have to use it. But again, you have to deal with all this wire that I have bundled up here. Alright guys, and so I'll be using this wireless remote here. This is the part number from Warn. I did buy this through Amazon, and I think it was around $70 to $80, give or take, but I'll link the part here below if you guys are interested. And if you guys have the same winch that I do, the Evo series, then you can go and use this same part number to upgrade your remote from a wired to a wireless remote. Okay, so to get this install going, I do have to remove the bumper cover. Take this off so that way I have access to the control box down here, so we can disassemble that and remove the factory control box and upgrade that to the new wireless control box, and follow along as I go through this. Real quick, what comes in the box is they give you an extra cable. This seems to be the exact same one that I have that came from Warn. And then you'll have the new remote. This is going to be the wireless remote. We'll compare the two in a moment. And the actual control box. This is the wireless control box that we'll be installing into and replacing the wired control box. And then they do provide you with a installation manual so that we can install this. And it does go through a step-by-step process of how you would install the new control box to the existing control box. Alright guys, here's the factory Warn wired winch, and here is the new one. The new one has extra buttons. It does have a power button or a mode button that it has up here, but they still have the same spool in and spool out buttons here. They're just about identical, except again, one's wireless and one is wired. To keep things safe, we're going to remove the negative battery to the winch, so that way we can have that turned off while we work on the wires. And we'll reconnect that once we're all done. Alright guys, bumper cover is off, and now we have access to the control box. Now your setup might be different than mine. Your control box might be mounted on the actual winch itself. Mine, however, I've had it relocated onto this bracket here. So I'm gonna basically just unmount this and then disassemble the box to expose the wiring. I already have unfastened the bolts here, and so this will just allow me to pick this up, flip it up, and then it'll expose the mounting screws that are holding the control box onto this bracket here. Okay, once you have everything disassembled, what's next is you have these 4 Phillips screws here. And once you remove these 4 Phillips screws, that should allow the base and the plate here to come right off so you can get to the control box. Okay, so Phillips forehead on all 4 corners are removed. This should open up the housing. And here it is. Here is the wired control box that we had to replace it with the new wireless control box. We do have to take out the spade connectors along with the positive cable here to remove part of this cable off from that. So let's go ahead and get this started. We'll disconnect the harness here from the wired control box. So this is off, and we'll set this to the side. And then we'll disconnect the spade connectors. You can go ahead and take a picture of this orientation so you know exactly where things go. The manual does show you which orientation they go back when you go back to install the spade connectors. Okay, all the spade connections are off now. And then we're gonna go ahead and remove the ground, which is right here. We are going to be reusing one of the ground cables with the new wireless remote. But this is the ground that holds this wired bundle of black grounds here. So you guys can see there's this ground cable here, and then there's this ground cable here that is with the bundle here, and the one by itself that has the spade connection. This is what we'll be using with the new wireless remote. Again, this is the positive connection here to the live wire for the winch. There's a few lock washers and washers, so don't lose these. We'll take this off, the washer, and then the main power connection, that comes off. And then the positive wire for the bundle, that comes off. And that frees it up. We're gonna go ahead and unfasten the wired control box. And there you have it. This is off. We're gonna go ahead and cut this bundle here so we can take off this black ground here and use it with the new wireless control box. Just a quick comparison. This is the one that we removed from the control box, and this is the new wireless control box. So again, wired and then wireless. I have the new wireless remote all set up. The ground cable is already back on this bundle here, so I'm going to go ahead and just do everything back in reverse. Oh, and this green wire, there's no use for it. The wired one was the same thing, it was just out by itself. The new one, the wireless one, has the same thing, but it doesn't go to any connection. So just an FYI. The ground cables, there's no real orientation which way it goes back in, just as long as they're all in the same bundle. Ground cables are connected. The last bit of this is going to be the power line. So again, nut, lock washer, and the washer comes off. We'll feed the positive cable there, and then don't forget about the main power line to the winch. This also goes back on, like so. So again, washer, lock nut, and then the nut. This is a 13mm nut. Okay, so that's nice and tight. Okay, so last but not least is going to be the spade connectors. And orientation was, again, it was yellow. And it was the black connection for the spade, the black spade connection, and then the blue spade connection. Alright, so everything looks like it's plugged in except for the last part, which is this main harness here for the wired feed. So we're gonna go ahead and just connect this back onto the cover here. Okay, snapped in. And then before I start putting everything back, we're gonna go ahead and do a test run and go back and mount the ground wire back onto the battery, and then we'll test it out with the new remote and we'll see how it turns out. Alright guys, moment of truth. Everything is plugged in, everything is mounted, everything is bolted on. All the spade connectors are all connected and the ground is back onto the battery. So let's remove this little pull tab here. Okay, and then let's turn it on. We have power, and let's see if it'll unspool freely. All right, you guys seen it here first. It works. Awesome. And I believe if you want to turn it back off, you just hold back onto the mode button here again, and it'll deactivate it, and that renders it powerless. But yeah, it's super awesome to be able to have a wireless remote. And now I don't have to go back and open up the hood every single time to connect the actual cable to the control box. Everything is now wireless. Whenever I have to go back and use a winch, I now have this. Now because I only have one wireless remote, I'm going to keep this wired remote with the cable in the back of the vehicle as a backup. And just in case for whatever reason that happens, the wireless control box gets malfunctioned, I'm going to go ahead and keep this as a backup also in the back of the GX for those just in case moments. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and reassemble the control box here, put back on the bumper cover back onto the GX, and this will conclude the install. If you guys have the same winch that I do, which is the Warn Evo series, it's either the 8, 10, or 12S. This is the synthetic line for the winch here. But yes, if you guys have the same winch and you guys are tired of using the wired remote, there is a wireless option. So if you guys didn't know, now you know. And yeah guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the videos. If you guys liked what I put out, just make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Really trying to help this channel grow, and so if you guys have found this to be useful, please do so. Until then guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.